Vietnam crypto insights into Taipei. But we back anyway from the hottest city here in crypto in the world, Ho Chi Minh City. I've been here for about 3 years, crypto for 5 years. If you haven't seen the show before, if you don't know me, I'm Terrence, one of the only brothers in here in Vietnam talking about crypto. So let's deep dive right in. Glad that you've joined me. Let's talk about what's happening. Today, we're diving into the big three making waves right now. We've got Bitcoin doing its pre-Fed dance. Also, Solana continuing in its impressive run. Plus, Vitalik is dropping plans to make ETH simple, like Bitcoin. Huh? So let's unpack this all. All right, first, the OG Bitcoin. We saw Bitcoin prices take a little bit of a breather the past few days, hovering around 93, 94,000 mark. No surprise, really. It's done this before the Fed meeting. And will they hike the rates? Will they hold? We don't know. Don't be surprised. Bitcoin's often sensitive to these types of big macro moves. So just a little bit of caution, if you're trading or whatnot on this, because, Bitcoin does do this every Fed meeting. It takes a little bit of a breather. But never feel fear for the ETH holders out there. Remember last time the ETH Bitcoin ratio hit this key level, 450% gains arise. Now, so is this the calm before the storm, or are we in for some more chop? Drop your comments in the comment section below. Let me know. But here's the kicker. While Bitcoin plays it cool, some altcoins are not getting the memo. Keep your eyes on names like Hype, AAVE, Render. Charts for these guys are looking pretty bullish, suggesting maybe that the underlying strength in the certain sectors isn't fading, even if Bitcoin and Ethereum take a pause. But it's interesting divergence. And Solana, SOL, has been on an absolute tear. Fast transactions, low fees, and they've also had the hype of the meme coins with Pump Fun earlier last year and late last year as well. And a resurgence of GameFi on the chain. But, is a Solana success a bad news for Ethereum? Actually, I think not entirely. And, competition is healthy. Solana's rise pushes Ethereum to innovate faster. Plus, a thriving Solana ecosystem brings more users and developers to the Web3 space overall. And, it's like the saying goes, a rising tide lifts all boats. Now, Solana is proving that the demand for high-performance blockchains is here and it's going to remain here. And matter of fact, there's a new faster chain coming out, seems like every other month here. But this validates the entire Web3 space, including Ethereum's role as a foundational layer of smart contracts and its own scaling solutions like layer 2s. So, Solana is having its moment and, congrats to them. It has been for the past year, but it might be forcing Ethereum to level up. And speaking of level up, Vitalik Buterin, the co-founder of Ethereum and the main man behind Ethereum, he wants to make Ethereum smart and fast and simple as Bitcoin within the next 5 years. Now go figure that. Now this doesn't mean he's planning on dumbing it down, just making the core protocol complexities more simple. It's like streaming. Let's think of streaming the engine and not removing the features. Some analysts are calling this the most bullish thing for ETH because it addresses core concerns about its long-term viability and ease of use, potentially making it more appealing, like the Bitcoin's perceived robustness. It's a massive undertaking and, it's aiming for Bitcoin's elegance and simplicity while retaining Ethereum's programmability. But, can they pull it off by 2030? Put your comments in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts on that. But not to be outdone by these heavyweights, SWE has made significant strides this cycle and has been on a tear this past month. One of the founders who I met last year briefly when he was on his way through Vietnam, through GM Vietnam 2024, he had this to say recently.
So you now have this amazing set of schemes that a developer can pick and choose as to what's required. If I need to govern access to data, I use Seal, I use Walrus. If I need to manage data outside of the confines of chains, I can use Nautilus as a trusted compute unit to act as an oracle that would provide data directly in a provable way on chain. If I need a way to coordinate how data elastic are sent and transferred, I can use SWE alone for that. And then you add on the fact that there's a identity-based system on SWE with zkLogin that lets me use existing schemes that I use on the internet to identify myself or to transact on my own behalf. You've built an amazing composable system that developers of the future are going to need to build the next set of business models.
SWE's ecosystem has been absolutely exploding. Their TVL, total value locked that is, surged to $1.8 billion recently with DeFi activity booming. They just launched their Walnut mainnet upgrade, boosting performance. But the really interesting part is their big push into Bitcoin DeFi, or BTC-Fi, as they call it. Now, SWE is integrating SBTC. That's a one-to-one Bitcoin-backed asset from the Stacks network. This means that Bitcoin holders can actually use their BTC within SWE's fast and cheap and ever-evolving ecosystem for lending, borrowing, and even earning yield without needing centralized bridges or custodians. And SWE is becoming a validator on the Stacks network as well. They're aiming to unlock Bitcoin's massive $1.6 trillion plus liquidity for institutional and retail DeFi. And it's a smart play, making Bitcoin a productive asset on its modular L1. Now, what does all of this mean for your portfolio? Where's the next big opportunity? Will Bitcoin remain king? Ethereum the smart contender? Will Web3's game change entirely? Will SWE or Solana overtake Ethereum? Let me know your comments in the comment section below. And thanks for joining us. Make sure that you share our video, give us a like or subscribe so you don't miss any of our upcoming updates. Happy Cinco de Mayo, everyone. I'm going to go celebrate the holiday here in Vietnam. They do have some spots here. Get some good Mexican food. And that's all for me. Keep it coffee and crypto. I'll see you next time.